So, why is meditation so hard, and how can I make it easier? Hi, I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. Make sure everything's working here. I just inserted some web addresses in the chat box. So, if you're interested, please copy them out of the chat box and check them out in terms of websites for meditation information. As I said, I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. Why is meditation so hard, and how can I make it easier? Well, meditation is a powerful and effective practice that can actually change your life. It can make your brain stronger. It can make your brain more effective in terms of clear thinking and concentration. It can make your body healthier by reducing stress and the illness that are associated with stress. And it can make your presence in the world more impactful in terms of expressing and exercising your own power. Now, from the outside, meditation looks easy. You know, you're just sitting there doing nothing. But those who have tried it and gotten into it can testify that it's a lot harder than it appears to be from the outside. It requires discipline. It requires determination. It requires persistence and patience. Unfortunately, those are things that most of us in the Western civilized world are not trained or required to practice. So eventually, meditation brings about a restructuring of our lives. But the good news is that it can do it in a way that you don't even notice that you're being changed. It's nice. Please click on the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe. And remember, I'd love to get your comments, thoughts, and questions by using the chat box on the right side of the screen. Remember that I have placed some web addresses there in the chat box, so check those out after you leave here for more information on meditating. So remember, back to our talk. Meditation is a technique or series of techniques that have been around for centuries, hundreds of years, and they span many cultures. Though it's mostly credited with coming to us from India, China, and Tibet, it was actually brought to us in the psychedelic era, the 1960s and 70s, when the British rock groups were all here, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and I've forgotten. There were a lot of them. There were a lot of them. And they were practicing or beginning to practice meditation along with all the mind-altering drugs that were popular during that time. And since then, it's been growing. Meditation has been growing in popularity. Right now, I guess there are about 20 million people in the United States who are practicing meditation. So meditation is actually a mental exercise that trains the mind to focus and reduce the influence of negative thoughts and feelings which are being created by our chattering conscious mind. Now, through the practice of meditation, the person who is practicing meditation experiences improved concentration, reduced anxiety, greater resistance to depression, heightened situational analysis, better problem solving and decision making. And although it is often associated with religious activities, it is not necessarily religious. It doesn't have to be religious. It doesn't have to have any religious connotation whatsoever. It's primarily therapeutic and has a very positive effect on anyone who practices it well, practices it consistently, and the people who live around those people who practice meditation say that it has a great effect on the person who's meditating, but it also has a positive effect on the people who are around the meditator. Because remember, we deal with auras here. And So one aura affects another aura. So meditation is very powerful and very beneficial, not only to you, but to the people around you. So let's get down to it. How do you do meditation? Well, please remember there is no one right way to do meditation. No one right way. There are dozens of ways to do meditation. Uh, but what we're going to do is we're going to start this way, which you start by sitting down, closing your eyes, and sitting still for 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. We're going to start easy. So you build up to it. So just 2 minutes. And while you're sitting there, quietly, with your eyes closed, concentrate on your breath. Place your attention on the breath coming into your nostril as you inhale. And with your imagination, follow that breath all the way down into your lungs. And when you get down into the lungs, count the number 1, quietly, silently. Then when you exhale, when you finish with the exhale, count the number 2. Then inhale, bringing it in all the way to the lungs, and you count 3. And then you exhale and count 4. And then you inhale and count 5. And then you exhale and count 6. And you keep doing that counting all the way up to the number 10. And when you get to the number 10, you start back to the number 1. And you do that for 2 minutes. Now what you discover as you continue this process, in and out, concentrating on your breathing, focusing on your breathing, nothing else, just focusing on your breathing. But what's going to happen is your mind's going to wander. Your mind doesn't want to do this. Your mind has other plans. So you have to bring your mind under control. So when you notice that your mind is wandering off somewhere, into the hill and the dale and yesterday's problems and tomorrow's anxieties, bring it back into line and start over at 1. Don't try to remember where you left off. Just start back at 1 and inhale 1, exhale 2. Inhale 1, exhale 2. Now when I started doing this, when I started out meditating, my mind would usually take off about the number 4. And it would be gone, and then I'd have to catch it and pull it back and start off at number 1 again. But when I got to 4, it would take off again. And finally, after repeated attempts of it, many days, I finally broke through that number 4 barrier and got all the way up to 10 eventually. Okay, so if you when you have trouble getting to 10, when you find that your mind is wandering off a lot to the process, be aware that it does not want to relinquish the control to you, but that's okay. You will eventually get there if you keep at it, okay? And after you've been able to do a 2-minute session for, say, 7 full days, 2 minutes, then you can expand it to 4 minutes. And if you're able to do 4 minutes for that additional 7 days, then you can expand it again to 6 minutes, or maybe even 8 minutes. But if you don't make that, if you don't accomplish the 2 minutes in 7 days, or you don't accomplish the 4 minutes in 14 days, do not beat yourself up. It's okay. See, this is yours. This is your practice. And so whatever it takes for you to get to where you want to be is okay. Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's going to give you a grade of A or D or F or whatever. This is your practice. So 2 minutes, if you can't do 2 minutes over 7 days, then to do 2 minutes for 14 days, if you can make that work. Or if you could do 2 minutes for 7 days and then you can't do 4 minutes for the next 7 days or 14 days, then do more. But it's a very gradual. As I said, it requires determination, persistence, and most of all, patience. This is new to your body. This is new to your mind. And so don't push it. Allow it to happen organically. You just keep at it. Keep at it. And eventually your mind is going to give up. Now, you should, excuse me, you should set a time for doing this, by the way. Set a time when you're going to do it. A lot of people like to do it in the morning. I do it in the morning. When I wake up, I do it in the morning because I find that that's the best time for me. It's quiet and my mind is already not awake yet, not fully spinning yet. So I find that that's a good time for me. Sometimes I do it at night. I do contemplation at night mostly and meditating in the morning. Contemplation at night, meditating in the morning. But have a set time for doing it or a set period of day for doing it. This is to acclimate your body and mind to the practice. Because if you do it at the same time every day, your body is going to make it a habit. Because your body and mind are very good at creating habits. That is what that's one of their primary features, is they can make a habit. If you do it over and over again, they're going to take over and it's going to become a habit. And what's nice about a habit is that when the time gets close, the body and mind will prepare for the function or the practice of the meditation. They're going to look forward to it, actually, and want to do it, and will actually start to get into the mood for it. So set a definite time to get to do your meditation practice. Okay, you're also going to need, as I said, it requires patience, persistence. You may notice as you get into meditation that there are going to be points of distraction. That is, you're going to have itches that you never had before. Your nose is going to itch. Your head is going to itch. Or your body's going to ache in some times. Or you're going to feel like you have to move because this isn't quite as comfortable as you thought. Fine. Do not be upset. Go ahead and scratch the itch. Move the body if you need to get more comfortable. Go with it. All right? Go with it. But then go back to your counting your breath. That's the key. Go back to counting your breath. See, your mind is trying to distract you in many ways, but if you keep going back to counting your breath the way you're supposed to, then eventually your mind's going to give up. And it's going to say, okay, this is what you're going to do. Fine. I'll go with it. So if you got it, and then later you may want to change the lighting or change the chair you're in or get a blanket because you feel a little chilled when you do it. All that's fine. Just go with it. If a noise is a distraction, maybe you should find some soothing music. There's tons of meditation music out there that you can listen to on the web, Spotify, these music services. Meditation music is all over the place. So find a piece of meditation music if you need to do that. Whatever it takes to get you into position to do your meditation, go ahead and do it. But remember, get right back to doing your counting of your breath. Get right back to it. And eventually, you will be able to work your way up to 20 or even 30 minutes of doing your meditation. Okay? Remember, there's no one way of practicing. There are dozens of ways to practice meditation. That's why I put those web addresses in the chat box on the my left, your right, the right side of the screen. There are books written, there are videos, so check them out. The end result is the same. When you meditate, you will be empowered through the practice of meditation. It affects your body and it affects your brain. We can increase your brain's mental processes like memory, learning, meditation, attention. It can slow down the aging process. Believe it or not, aging can slow it down because what happens is there are certain elements in your DNA that begin to shrink under stress, which can cause you to age faster. And what meditation does is it reduces the stress, and those things don't get forced to shrink. They stay longer, which means you stay young longer. It alters your brain chemistry to resist depression, strengthens the immunity system. It can strengthen the immunity system because it relieves blood pressure. Stress, blood pressure, they go together. But if the pressure on your heart, because that's what blood pressure is, it's pressure on your heart. The pressure on your heart is relieved, then your heart is going to be able to pump stronger, longer. So it's going to help in your heart health. So meditation, it's another tool we can use in the important work of quieting our minds. Quieting our minds. So why is quieting our minds so important? Remember, I told you yesterday about the defibrillator machine where you got the two pads and the handles, and when somebody dies, you hit them with the shock to restart the heart. And if it doesn't work the first time, you want to do it again, but you can't do it right away because the defibrillator has to be charged up. And it's the same with our minds. If our minds are quiet, then they are charging up. The things we say have more impact. The things we think have more impact. Our thoughts have more impact. If our minds are going and our thoughts are going unconstantly, yappity, 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 they're just expending energy and not building power. And that is not serving us well. So as spiritual warriors, we need to build power because we are going to be called upon to focus our considerable spiritual power to the task of reducing fear, building peace, and spreading love throughout our environment, our community, our nation, and the world. And the more we're able to bring focus from our minds and connection with the infinite intelligence, the better off we're going to be. Yeah, because we as spiritual warriors can change the world. Let us close with prayer. Thank you, infinite intelligence. Thank you for bringing all of us together in this life so that we may become spiritual warriors and join in the work that we have come here to do. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing us to this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship to life and infinite intelligence. Thank you for showing us who we really are. We open our minds and hearts to the truth of our being. We are the children of God. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. And because we are part of the greater whole, we are beginning to understand our value to the community, to continuity on this planet. And as we become channels of your power, infinite intelligence, we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives more and more. And we know that as we feel your presence within our lives every day, we will rise because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in the darkness of fear, anger, and the pain of unforgiveness. So we are now restoring our connection through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive ourselves for the pain that we have caused to ourselves, and as we learn to forgive those who have inflicted pain upon us, our connections will grow stronger, and our lives will grow happier and healthier and more prosperous. And for this, we are truly grateful. As above, so below. As within, so without. And so it is. Amen. So please remember to click on the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe. I'd really appreciate seeing your comments, suggestions, or thoughts in the chat box or in the comment section below the video, if you are looking in the rerun, please remember to check out the websites that I have listed over there in the chat box. And I want to thank you very, very much for watching. And I wish you a very happy weekend. I am Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind.